Now, you may know him as a judge on the Great Canadian Baking Show, but you can also see him live at the BC Home and Garden Show. He's going to be presenting on the cooking stage. Here's the big reveal right now. Yeah, you're going to remember when Bruno Feldeisen as well was pastry chef instructor at the Pacific Institute of Culinary Arts here in Vancouver. He's had so much experience, but we definitely recognize you from the baking show. Welcome to Our Vancouver.
Thank you, Gloria, for having me here.
Well, I know you are going to be a big draw for the BC Home and Garden Show as well. Just set it up for us, and we're going to dive in here to a cool dessert in a moment. But what can people expect on the big stage?
So about 40 minutes cooking demonstration live, a lot of question and answer. And one of the recipes I will make, it's cannolis with mascarpone and espresso cream inside.
Oh, I love that. So is that a dessert or is that a main?
It's a dessert.
It's a dessert.
Finger desserts.
Are you all about the desserts all the time?
No, I do a lot of cooking as well. So,
you do that?
Yeah. Different approach, different feeling, different emotions, but I enjoy doing from bread to butchering, to cooking, to harvesting, actually.
Well, sure. Well, okay, let's go down that emotional path then, shall we? Because with the Great Canadian Cooking Show, or Baking Show, there's a lot of emotion there, isn't there? So you're a judge. How do you draw on your own experience, the pressures, producing under pressure as you're in that position?
It's difficult, it's always, the biggest challenge is the timing. And if you can control your time, then you should be okay, And I always encourage people to practice, because it's the best way to understand the whole process.
Okay.
And then for me, the hardest part is really to digest all those cakes and desserts and pastries.
How do you do that?
I do well. I do very well at it.
I mean, do you counter that with some, here on the West Coast, some sort of outdoor activity, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, the whole process, it's about 7 weeks for the show when we film it. So, I prepare myself before, with a lot of exercise. Right now I'm doing a lot of skiing on the local hills.
Oh, good for you.
And then when we are done, then it's summertime, so I can go on my bicycle or do a lot of hiking as well.
Right. You've become quite a spokesperson for mental health issues as well, Bruno, over the years, for people in the industry and not in the industry. But let's just use, baking as some sort of solace or escape. And where does that fit into, helping out with mental health?
I think baking, it's about celebrating and giving. We don't bake because we are starving. Usually we do some bake at home to celebrate a birthday or to bring it in your office or with friends, So there is a celebration part that's very nurturing, I think. People forget food, it's about sharing. So, baking is a good focus to really help yourself to, I use it as a feel-good moment. And it does create great memories as well.
Well, okay, but this is all the positive. This is when everything works out. What if you have, maybe a dessert that didn't turn out the way you planned?
Then spin it. If your baguette is not straight, then you don't call it a baguette. You call it an Italian rustic bread.
That's a
so
good
there is a way, if it's too soft, then you don't call it a mousse. You call it a custard. There is a way, the story behind any food, it's very important.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, even if it doesn't look perfect, it probably tastes pretty great because it's got all the ingredients here. What have you brought in today? What are you going to take us through?
So today we're doing a very simple dessert. It's a buttermilk panna cotta with a mango marmalade. I love using mango in winter. And on the top we do an almond chocolate chip cookie crumble.
Where do we start?
So we start a very simple process. We mix together in a bowl brown sugar, flour, almond flour, some wonderful cocoa powder I brought from France, some butter, all mixed by hands, put on a tray, bake.
You've pre-measured everything. Let's pretend this would all go in here, and I know it takes a while to get the butter all in, but that's great. That's all it takes?
Yeah. A few mixing with your hands, put it on the tray, goes in the oven, and then at the end we get this beautiful cookie crumble. It's crunchy.
Oh, I see. Oh, I thought that was like a demerara sugar or something like that. It hardened. Yeah. A piece of that. That's a cookie. So this is not a crust. This gets mixed into the actual.
Yeah, that's gonna go. I'll show you when we're gonna build it.
I could just take a bowl of those, frankly. Okay, so that's all together. Pretend. We've mixed all this up. We've got the butter all in, and this hot chocolate.
And then the buttermilk panna cotta itself. It's a mix of half cream, half buttermilk, a little gelatin powder. I put a little honey for sweetness. You warm it, put it in a glass, chill it a few hours, then you get your panna cotta.
Look at that. I love the texture of a panna cotta after a meal. Even though you're talking about butter and buttermilk, or, milk and buttermilk cream, it still tastes light. I pretend it's light.
It is light, but it has this beautiful creamy texture.
Yes.
I love using buttermilk because it cuts into the richness of just a cream panna cotta.
It gives it a little bit of a
little tang.
A little tang like that.
And, you could serve it that way. It's very tasty. It's very good.
No, come on. You brought in all this. Let's dress it up. I
cook sugar and mango, fresh or frozen. It's either way. And then when it's cooked, you have this chunky marmalade.
How long does that take?
About 10 minutes. So,
10 minutes, sugar and marmalade. Equal parts kind of thing? Or
approximately.
Or sugar and mango. Okay.
Then I spoon it into the glass. So, that's a two-step process. And already you got a beautiful, colorful, you want to see a nice contrast.
I love that.
And contrast visual, but also in texture. Creamy panna cotta, chunky marmalade-like mango jam. And of course, to make it nicer and better, we can top it with some...
I've already cheated on that one, haven't I?
Chocolate cookie crumble. And again, that's what we're looking for.
Isn't that gorgeous?
The visual is very important.
I have a feeling there's more visual coming because you've got a couple of mandarins here as well.
So you layer
Look at that.
consistent in a volume.
Yep, we're going to get a little soft there, we're going to get a little crunch there, and then the cream at the bottom.
Perfect.
And with all of those textures.
And that makes usually a very good dessert. When you have these different components, the visual excites you when you see it. Then when you dig into it, the whole texture in your mouth makes it like a very unique dessert. And of course, to finish it, a little aroma or scent. I take a tangerine, they're great this season.
Tangerine, I said mandarin. Tangerine.
Tangerine or mandarin, it's pretty much the same. A macroplane.
Yes.
And then some little zest on the top.
That's going to hit your tongue and
you can smell it.
Yes, it is gorgeous. I can smell it all this way. Oh, look, now the fun part.
And this is the fun part.
Let's see. Let's dig in. All through all of those flavors. I'm going to get all of that going on.
And that makes a perfect breakfast.
Breakfast.
It does.
Lunch, dinner, I'm taking it 3 courses. Bruno, if I was a judge, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, you're a winner.
Am I making it to the next round?
You're making it to the next round. Thank you for coming in.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
You've got one too. This is so beautiful.